Hello there and welcome to another episode of Cutting Through the Bullshit. I'm your host, Dr. Stephanie Snyder, and I am a high performance mentor. Through my unique blend of strategy, mindset, and intuition, I help men and women to cut through the BS in order to create the life and business they desire. So, I'm going to share with you a little bit more of a personal deep dive as to what I have been learning recently. So, I fell upon this Instagram page for the fittest flat earther. Tyler Hansen, I believe is his name. And if you're not familiar with him, check him out if you're open-minded. If you are not open-minded, I don't recommend you hang out on his page because it will really rattle you, to say the least. And so I stumbled upon his page. I'm not entirely sure how, but it has been really rattling to me some of the truth that is coming through his page. Really, all of the truth that he shares is a bit unnerving. And the only reason that I resonate with it is because I have enough of that internal guidance to know that he's not BSing us. And so it's initially it was a lot. Full disclosure, it was a lot. Many days I felt totally ungrounded, felt a little unhinged, a little lightheaded. And so I had prayed about it and I said, okay, so this is the truth for sure. Like I believe in this, it's biblically based. And so how do I counter this? How do I make sure that I stay grounded when I feel so ungrounded? And so what I've been doing is listening to Tyler's information in chunks, smaller chunks of time, and then following them up with one of my other favorite mentors, Myron Goldman, or Melanie Ann Layer. So those are my two go-to mentors right now to help me stay grounded as I move through some of Tyler's information. So what do I mean by all of this? Well, there's a lot of truthers out there that aren't necessarily sharing the whole truth. And for me, it's not so much that I feel like it impacts my day-to-day, right? So if the world is round or it's flat, that doesn't matter so much to me. And the only reason that doesn't matter so much to me is because I know I am created in God's image. I am not an accident where atoms accidentally collided and all of a sudden, the world was created. I have known forever that I have not come from a chimp, right? Like, no, I have never subscribed to that science-based model. I have always believed in the biblical base model of creation. Therefore, some of the truths don't rock me so much as some of the other ones, right? Like, again, the earth could be round, it could be flat. Does it matter a whole lot to me which way it is? Not necessarily, because my relationship with God is based off the fact that I am created in His image, not off of the fact that I can be created in a lab, right? Like that's never been a thing that's resonated with me. And so as I have learned and unlearned these things, it's been very important to me to stay grounded through it and to balance it out. And so some of it, like I said, has been a bit unnerving, where you're like, what? Is it all just a lie? Right? And then you go, okay, so if it's all just a blah, 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 how do you respond? So how do you show up when it feels like everything might be unraveling? And again, that's where I've been drawn to Myron and Melanie and doing more of the spiritual inner work and really paying attention to the things that I have control over. Because there are some things that come through and you're a little mind boggled, and then it all works out in the end. And so it really is about taking it in stride. Because if you try to, it's like any other kind of habit that you're working through, right? So if you are trying to quit a habit, the easiest way to quit the habit is to change the identity of yourself from the core, right? That's the easiest way to do it, where you then decide, I am an athlete. I am a healthy eater, right? You change the identity and then the habits change. A lot of us are trying to change the habit without actually changing the identity, and that becomes very difficult. And so that is a lot of the work that I do as well with my private clients, is saying, okay, here's the thing, let's work on the emotional intelligence and the nervous system regulation around the thing, and then it becomes so much easier to deal with said thing, rather than constantly substituting things, right? Where you're, substituting this habit with a different habit, but still you're not actually getting to the core of the habit. And that is some of that deeper work that I do. And so why does this all really matter? Well, because I know the power of your internal transformation. I actually just started a new Bible study this morning called The Glow Up. And the very first thing that was in this Bible study was about how how many of us, not all of us, many of us seek the external transformation before the internal transformation. We want to see the proof of the thing before we actually believe the thing, but it actually works in the reverse. Our belief shows us the proof. It is our belief that comes first, and then the physical proof shows up. And so that's where that belief, that identity shift, that's where that comes into play first before you actually see it. And that is the most powerful thing that you can do, is to shift that belief, because it doesn't matter what you say to yourself. It matters what you believe when you say it. And so this is why affirmations won't work if they don't feel true to you. You can say that you are rich all day long, but if it feels like a lie and your nervous system is telling you that's a lie, that's a lie, that's a lie, it doesn't matter if you say it all day, every day. And so there was a book, The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy. That book really articulates it well, because he says, hey, like, if you can't get on board with saying things like I am rich, you can get on board with a word like wealth. It's neutral. And so this is actually something that I implemented about a year ago, where I would fall asleep saying health, wealth, peace, love, abundance. Health, wealth, peace, love, abundance. Now my mind doesn't really stop running at all once my head hits the pillow, and so I have to just focus on the word sleep. But that has been ingrained, that those things are now coming to fruition because I have spent the time with the belief and the identity behind it. Health, wealth, peace, love, abundance, right? And so if you listen to my last episode, where I just shared about kind of the belief around money and the abundance of money, that was a shift that took place. And the fact that it is showing up now in the external means that it is true in the internal. And that is a beautiful place to be, because when it shows up in the external, it is confirmation of the internal, not the other way around. And so I share all of this with you because I did want to give you a little bit of insight as to the things that are moving through this year. And this summer, I've really given myself the space to just be. I've read several just summer novels, not anything major, nothing mind-boggling. I do feel like I need something that's a bit more mentally stimulating, and so I am looking for the next kind of book in terms of that. or the deeper conversations, which means that I'm ready for some more private clients, because I'm ready to engage in those conversations with people, where we don't do the surface level, how's the weather, where we get down to really the depth of it all. And that is really where I get to show up and I activate, and it's really quite enjoyable. So, and I know it's coming. I can feel it. There's an energy shift there for sure. So, I'm sending you so much love. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And as always, be you, because the world needs more of you. Bye.